All this time, you've been chasing her shadow, texting her twice when she only replied once, trying to fill the silence with more noise, and thinking stupidly that love is something you prove by being available. You believed that if you stayed close, stayed nice, stayed present, she'd realize your worth, but she didn't. She drifted. The more you showed up, the more invisible you became, because no one craves what's always in reach. And women, they don't fall for comfort. They fall for the man who disappears without apology. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to vanish with power and make her chase the silence you left behind. She doesn't miss your presence. She misses the mystery that died the moment you gave yourself away. Every time you answered right away, every time you filled the space, every time you made sure she was okay, even when she didn't ask. That's what killed it. You think she'll love you for being consistent, reliable, sweet. But what she actually remembers is the moment she started wondering where you went, not the moment you arrived. There's a secret most men never learn: your value rises the moment your availability vanishes. Because her desire doesn't live in what's known. It lives in the unknown, in the pause between messages, in the long, quiet stretch when you used to text good morning and suddenly nothing comes. She won't say it out loud, but deep in the part of her that still responds like clockwork to evolutionary programming, she wants to feel that cold silence. She wants to wonder if she's still got you. Because certainty is death to desire, and if she always knows you're there, always smiling, always ready, she never has to earn your presence again. So what do? You stop flooding her with words. You stop texting paragraphs hoping to fix the vibe. You stop reacting to her stories like a trained dog waiting for a pat on the head. And you let space do the talking. Let distance pull the thread of tension until she feels the weight of what's missing. Here's what happens in her head. First comes confusion. Why hasn't he texted? Then comes the itch. Did I say something wrong? Then comes the spiral. Wait, is he talking to someone else? And if you're really playing it right, if you've stopped the performance, dropped the obsession, reclaimed your own rhythm, then the final stage hits like a drug curiosity. Now she's thinking about you, replaying memories, digging through old messages. Because a man who disappears into himself becomes a mirror. She starts projecting, starts fantasizing, starts seeing you in every man who isn't you. And none of them compare. But you don't do this to manipulate. You do this to return to yourself. Because when you're chasing, you're distorted. You bend, you shrink, you soften just to hold her attention. But when you let go, you straighten, your spine returns, your presence sharpens. You remember who you were before she made your world small. You don't become magnetic by being predictable. You become magnetic by being unreadable. Not cold, not rude, just grounded in your own mystery. She doesn't need more explanations. She needs to feel the absence of your certainty. Think about the last time she texted something vague. You probably felt a surge of panic. What does she mean by that? You wondered. And just like that, she had the power. That tension you felt. That's the same tension you kill every time you over-explain. Every time you double text. Every time you rush to make sure she knows you care. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. She already knows you care. You've shown her, repeatedly, overwhelmingly. She's not unsure of your affection. She's unsure of your independence. And that's what makes her crave. When a man walks away not out of anger, not out of game playing, but out of truth, he becomes a question mark. And women chase questions, not statements. You've been a statement for too long. I'll always be here, but you can count on me. No matter what. I'll never leave. But the moment you become a question again, where did he go? Why hasn't he replied? What is he doing right now? The game changes. And she starts chasing, but here's where most men destroy everything. They vanish for a day, then crawl back with a meme. They disappear for 3 hours, then send a TikTok like nothing happened. That's not mystery. That's inconsistency. And inconsistency isn't attractive, it's exhausting. What works is silence with weight, not silence to punish. Silence that tells a story. A story that says, I'm not glued to you. I'm not orbiting. I'm not broken without your attention. And when that's true, when your silence is born from strength, not need, then something primitive lights up in her. Because now she has to wonder, what does he want? And when she starts asking that question, when the power flips, you've already won. You're sitting at your desk, the same spot you always check your phone. Your screen lights up her name again. But this time, you don't open it. Not because you're playing games, but because for once, you're not starving. She doesn't know that. All she feels is absence. The air around her is heavier now. Her texts used to land like feathers. Now they hit the floor with a thud. She stares at the screen. Delivered. No response. 20 minutes. 40. An hour? Her brain starts filling the silence with ghosts. What's he doing? Who's he with? Why hasn't he answered? She rereads your last message. Like it's scripture. She remembers your tone, your eyes, the way your voice dropped an octave the last time you said her name. It echoes now, louder in your absence than it ever did in your presence. This is the power of space, and she's feeling it like static across her skin. Rewind, 3 weeks ago, you were always there, messaging her before she woke up, dropping goodnight texts like prayers. Did you hope your meeting went well? Harmless, right? You thought you were being thoughtful, but deep down, you were starving for approval, and every message, every emoji was a little breadcrumb, hoping she'd follow it back to you. But women don't chase breadcrumbs. They chase the forest you disappear into, the silence that scares them, the mystery they can't decode. She once knew you, mapped you, predicted you. That was the problem. Desire doesn't live in safety. It lives in possibility. So now you've pulled back. Not to punish, but to breathe. You don't answer every text because you're not glued to her attention span. You leave her on read not because you're cruel, but because you're calm. That calm, still presence that doesn't flinch under pressure, that doesn't need validation to know its worth. That's the man she starts to want again. Seen. She's out with friends. They're laughing, drinking. She checks her phone again. You haven't posted anything. No stories, no memes. Just a black mirror. She turns it off. Her friend nudges her. You okay? She forces a laugh. Yeah, just tired. But she's not tired. She's haunted. And here's what's really happening behind her eyes. I used to be sure I had him. Now she's not. And that uncertainty is electric. You gave her space. Now she's filling it with thoughts of you. That's the reversal. When you fill every silence and she never gets the chance to feel you missing. When you're always there, she forgets the weight of your presence. You became noise. Now, you're music. But silence only works if your life is louder than your absence. You don't just pull away and rot in your room. You disappear into motion, into work, into self-respect, into cold plunges and hard conversations, into sharpening yourself like a blade. You vanish into something real because women don't chase ghosts. They chase men with gravity. She senses that now, even if she can't name it. And when you do speak again, when you finally respond, it's not a performance. It's not sugar-coated. It's not, hey, sorry, I've just been busy with a dozen soft emojis to cushion the blow. It's simple, direct, masculine, because the man who reappears without apology becomes the only man she believes. You didn't ghost her. You became unavailable. There's a difference. Ghosting is fear. Disappearing with purpose is strength. And when you're silent, something strange happens. Her memory starts rewriting you. Suddenly, you're not the guy who was too available. You're the man she misunderstood, the one she took for granted, the one she lost before she ever fully had. She starts making excuses for you. He's probably just busy. He's so driven. I didn't reply fast last time. Maybe he's matching my energy. I kind of snapped in that last conversation. Maybe he's pulling away because of that. And just like that, the power flips. She's trying to decode you, not the other way around. Let her feel that tension. Don't rush in to soothe her. Don't water down your silence just because she finally reaches out. Let her sit in the discomfort. Let her crave the man who doesn't chase comfort. Let her chase the man who withdrew without a warning and returned only as himself, not as her echo. This is what presence feels like in reverse, when your absence carries more meaning than your words ever could. She's not texting you to talk. She's texting you to test the weight of your silence. Pass that test. Here's the myth they fed you: if you love her enough, stay close enough, show up enough, she'll never leave. They told you attention is how you win her, that consistency is king, that patience earns devotion. But it's a lie, because in real life, the man who hovers too long becomes background noise. She doesn't chase presence, she chases disruption. And the raw truth is, this women only feel deep attraction when you threaten their certainty. That doesn't mean being toxic. It means being untouchable. The man who doesn't explain himself. The man who disappears not to punish, but because he's building something bigger than her comfort zone. You don't owe her daily doses of your time. You don't owe her immediate replies. You don't owe her the safety net of your validation. What you owe is to yourself. To remember the fire you buried under your need to be liked. To stop asking for permission to breathe. To let her miss you. You gave too much. She didn't ask you to, but you did. Because you were trying to earn love by effort. But desire doesn't respond to effort. It responds to absence. Real attraction is born in silence, in unanswered questions. And the moment you stop trying to be understood, she starts wondering who you really are. It's not about being a jerk. It's about becoming unreadable. The kind of man who walks into a room and doesn't have to prove a damn thing. The kind of man who leaves for days and returns with nothing but stillness in his eyes, and it's enough. You stop explaining. You stop apologizing. You stop texting just to stay relevant. Because every time you reach out just to check if she still cares, you lose weight. And every time you vanish into yourself, you gain it back. So when she starts to pull away, don't chase. Don't beg. Don't make a speech. You simply withdraw. Quiet. Complete. Composed. Not as a threat, but as a statement. A statement that says, I don't compete for space in your mind. I create it. Now she's sitting alone, phone in hand. The messages aren't coming. The silence is stretching. She starts remembering not who you were, but who you might be. The man she never got to fully figure out. The man who didn't fit into her plans. The man who said less and meant more. That's when you win. Not when she replies. Not when she calls. But when she starts to crave answers that only you could give, and you're in no rush to give them. Her friends will tell her you're distant, that you're cold, that you're detached. But in her gut, she knows better. You're not cold. You're whole. You're not ghosting. You're growing. And somewhere, beneath her surface of pride and ego and advice from people who never kept a man, she feels the truth. You are the only one she can't predict. The only one who makes her feel like she's chasing a dream. Not a man. And when she sees you again, she won't ask where you went. She'll just stare, waiting for the version of you she used to take for granted. To speak. But you won't say much, because the man she misses now doesn't explain himself. He just is. Step 1. Shift your mindset from reassurance to mystery. You've been taught to keep her comfortable. You've been programmed to fill silence with sweetness. But the truth is, comfort kills romance. You think love means transparency? But what she craves isn't your honesty, it's your edge. If she can read you, control you, predict you, she will lose the part of herself that longs for you. So you shift from I hope she knows how I feel to let her wonder what I feel. Because attraction lives where imagination breathes. And a woman's imagination is 100 times stronger than your explanations. You don't say, I'm just giving you space. You become the space. Let her sit in it. Let her feel her own questions and let them echo. Step 2. Detach from outcome. You want her back, then stop needing her back. Need is the enemy of magnetism, and no woman wants to be your oxygen. You're not withdrawing to trigger her. You're withdrawing because you've remembered something. You were a man before she knew your name. You had rhythm, solitude, power. You've just been bleeding that power through your screen, one desperate emoji at a time. But now, you unplug, you rebuild, and you let her feel the absence of obsession. Because when you no longer care about her reaction, that's when she feels your energy again. Not the energy of the boy begging, but the presence of the man becoming. Step 3. Build a life so full. She has to chase it. This isn't about pretending. This isn't about waiting. This is about returning to your path, to your purpose, to the mission you dropped when she started replying less. Your attention was once directed at your own fire. Now it's been flickering under her approval. Reclaim it. Wake up early again. Read books that make your blood cold. Lift heavy. Speak slow. Find your edge again and sharpen it. Because when your life becomes bigger than your longing, she feels it. She senses that she's no longer the center. And paradoxically, that's what draws her back in. Not your need, your distance, your self-contained glow. You become a man with a current too strong to be caught easily, and she starts swimming. Step 4. Respond. Don't reach. When she texts, you don't flutter. Don't dump the bottled-up affection you've been starving to give. Pause. Let the silence breathe. Let her wonder if she reached you at all. And when you reply, make every word earned. Not short to be cruel, but measured to be respected. Hey, good to hear from you. Simple, steady, unapologetic. She'll feel the difference. Because you're not the same man. You're no longer leaning in. You're standing tall. She reached. You received. That's polarity. Let her rise to meet your silence, not your noise. Step 5. Own the final shift. You don't need her. You choose her. And here's where most men fail. They do the silence, the space, the self-work. But the moment she comes back, they collapse. They revert. They pour. They chase again. Don't. Let her return to a man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't rush, who doesn't break his frame the moment her face reappears. Because if she senses that your strength was just a mask, she will vanish again. But if she sees that your silence came from depth, not from strategy, then she will stay, and more than stay. She will offer her softness, her effort, her uncertainty. Because now, you're not an option. You're a mystery, and mystery is the heartbeat of seduction. She'll never chase you for the words you gave. She'll chase you for the silence you mastered.